Hello everyone, Clara the Geek here, and welcome back to a brand new video. And today is another episode review on the Series 9 finale, Hellbent. Hellbent is an episode that I can only describe as divisive. Some people love this episode, and that's great, but other people despise it with every fibre in their body. I'm part of the latter camp because I personally think it is the worst Doctor Who story in its history. And that's just my opinion there, but I've seen the majority of Doctor Who, and I've got to say, this is the worst of the worst. But why is that? Let's get into it. So the episode begins immediately where Heaven Sent left off, with the Doctor returning to Gallifrey, and this is where problem one comes. This is just completely wasted. Gallifrey's return is really poorly handled. Now remember, this is something that had been built up for 10 years in the Revived series, ever since Eccleston, he revealed the stuff about the Time War and how he fought and he's the only one left. It was really interesting, and it really changed the Doctor's character because he hated the Time Lords in the classic series. He wanted to get away from that lifestyle, but now that they're gone, he misses them. He misses that place to call home, and it really shifts the Doctor's character in a good direction. That's why in the Day of the Doctor, when Gallifrey was finally saved, the 11th Doctor was ecstatic, and he set out his mission to try and find Gallifrey. And then in the Series 8 finale, when Missy had lied to the Doctor about knowing where Gallifrey was, when he finds out, he is fuming. I mean, he's bashing the TARDIS console. That's how angry he is. That shows how much he misses his home. So the fact that the Doctor just doesn't bat an eyelid when he's back and it doesn't really affect him, it's such an anticlimax. The next problem I had with this story is Raslan. In the classic series, in the Five Doctors when he was first introduced, he was presented as this mythical, godlike being. Like, he was one of the founders of Gallifrey Society. And he seemed so interesting, it was really cool. And then in the Time War, he was resurrected to fight in the Time War, and he did some unspeakable things. But in this story, he does absolutely nothing. He just stands about, shouts at people, and then goes away off Gallifrey because they told him to. That's just really anticlimactic and really disrespectful to the character of Raslan. They just water him down so much, so he's not powerful, he's not intimidating, it's honestly just laughable. Then we get to the stuff with the showdown on Gallifrey, which, to be honest, could have been really interesting. You've got this interesting dilemma for these Time Lord soldiers who are like, well, do we listen to Raslan, our leader who led us into the worst war in history, or do we listen to the Doctor, a renegade who saved us all? That could have been really interesting and should have been the focus of the episode. But it's done in about, 10 minutes, and it's just a waste of potential. But then after that stuff with Raslan and Gallifrey and the Time Lords, we then get to the point where this episode just skydives into oblivion, with the Doctor taking Clara out of her time stream just to save her. And it's at this point where the episode just completely falls apart. You've got the Doctor reskin all of time and space, possibly fracturing time itself, as they say in the episode, just to save someone. I know apparently Clara was his best friend and all, but surely the Doctor would be smarter than that. It also just kind of removes any stakes from the Doctor Who universe. If anyone who dies, they could just go to Gallifrey and get them out the second before they die. And as long as they come back at some point, they're practically immortal, right? That's just not fun. That's just really uninteresting. And if the Doctor will go back and save Clara, why doesn't he go back and save, Adric when he died in Earthshock, or other companions who've died in the past? Don't you see how this gets really, really convoluted and really, really contrived? And this all leads to one of the worst scenes in Doctor Who history. Arguably the worst, but one of the worst, where the Doctor shoots the General. Now, for me personally, there is just no defending this scene. I don't mind if you like the episode, I just want to make that clear, but for me, this scene is just unforgivable in every way. First of all, it completely betrays the Doctor's character. The Doctor is the ultimate pacifist. He'll always tried to find another way. He vouched in The Day of the Doctor never to be cruel or cowardly, where that is how he can be described here, as both of those things, and it's disgraceful. And worse still, there was no reason for him to shoot someone. There was no reason for him to shoot the General in cold blood and kill him right there. Like, the General was somebody who was on his side, so there was no... It's not justified in any way. And then the excuse of, oh, death is Time Lord for Man Flu, is stupid, because look at other Doctors. Regeneration is not a pleasant experience, so... And also, Time Lords can live a very long time in one body. So the Doctor probably shaved about hundreds of years off the General's life in that body, which... It's honestly, I detest it. So the General regenerates and, regenerates into a woman. And some of the remarks that the General makes here is just... It's baffling. Like, they say stuff like, oh, back to normal. Only time I've been a man that last body. How do you cope with all that ego? How do you get away with that? Honestly, how can you get away with that? Because if it's a man saying that, you couldn't. So why is it okay the other way around? Another issue I have with the story is the hybrid arc and its resolution. This resolution, it's just so messy and unsatisfying. So, start of the episode, apparently it's half Dalek, half Time Lord. Then, no, it couldn't be that because nothing's half Dalek, apparently. So then we're left in the episode wondering, what is the hybrid? Then all of a sudden that half-human nonsense from the TV movie gets brought back, which you've all chosen to hide under the rug. You don't need to bring it back. Then the Doctor says he's the hybrid, and then later on in an interview, Stephen Moffat said it was meant to be the Doctor and Clara. Right, one, how can it be the Doctor and Clara? Isn't a hybrid meant to be, multiple things merged into one and not two? I don't get how it's two separate people. And two, the fact that people are still unclear and uncertain of what is the hybrid just shows how poorly thought out it was and poorly executed it was. Now, yeah, people have said that the Cyber Time Lords from the Series 12 finale are the hybrid, and to be fair, they do fit the bill, but it's never been officially confirmed, so it's still, for some fans, it's still unclear what the hybrid actually is. So yeah, this is also Series 9 could have a story arc. It's never been brought up again officially, and yeah, it's just really poorly done. And my final big problem with the story is Clara. Her coming back, she didn't need to come back. It was unnecessary and just intruded in the story, which it didn't need her in it. The story just wants to emphasise how important Clara is and, oh, isn't Clara and the Doctor wonderful and all that stuff, but you've got to make us care about Clara, and I know for a lot of people, Clara is not a very good character. She doesn't have much character, like, for a lot of people, so you don't really care, and it's pointless. It also devalues the previous episodes, Face the Raven, which gave her a really powerful send-off, and even though I don't like her as a companion, I thought it was a very good exit, and it suited to her. And Heaven Sent was all about grieving and getting over the loss of your friend, getting back up and winning, and that's what Hellbent should have been. It should have been the Doctor winning, taking Clara's advice, getting back up and win Gallifrey, win against the Time Lords. That's what Hellbent should have been, but it wasn't. I do have many other issues with the story, like smaller issues, like really poor fan service with the monsters in the cellars and the Hartnell console room being used there, Ashilda being really annoying, Clara getting her own TARDIS in that dreadful looking CGI diner, etc, etc. But if I went through them, we'd be here till Christmas 2049. So yeah, that was my review / rant about Hellbent. I mean, it's not the most positive video ever. I mean, it is my least favourite Doctor Who story here we're talking about. But if you love this episode with all your passion, that is completely fine. I've not got a problem with that. I mean, opinions are opinions. Everybody's allowed to have an opinion. And, say why you love it in the comments. I'm genuinely interested to hear. And I'm glad that you can find enjoyment out of something that I can't. And I want to make it clear here, I'm not somebody who will bash on Stephen Moffat constantly. He's probably my favourite writer of Doctor Who. Definitely the modern series, but no writer or showrunner is above criticism. Everyone will have their off episode or their off series that you don't really like. So it's not me bashing Stephen Moffat, but it's just Series 9 and Hellbent in particular that I'm not a fan of. But anyway, that's my video done for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, click the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And this Clack the Geek signing out. Goodbye everyone.